When I breathe in, air comes into my lungs. When I breathe out, carbon dioxide comes out of my lungs. Every time that I take a breath in my life, I am literally taking a piece of nature, a piece of the world, a piece of natural air into my body. Then my body somehow is taking this air and contributing it back to society in the form of carbon dioxide, which means that your body is legit contributing to the plants. So if the plants give off oxygen and you breathe in oxygen and then you give carbon dioxide out back to the plant so that it can grow again, it means that you are a significant part of nature's way, and that your very act of breathing is helping the world propel forward, as well as helping you move up and propel yourself forward. Now, air is consist of only about 30% oxygen, roughly about 79% nitrogen, and the remaining 1% is inert gas, which is a combination of multiple different gases in the air. Now, when did you learn this information throughout your life? Who taught you that you are part of nature and nature is part of you? Nobody, right? Nobody taught you how to communicate with yourself, how to communicate with nature with your breath, and how to hone in the power of God by staying stern in your breath. So every time you breathe, let's start to look at breathing differently. Instead of the shallow breath, which is chest breathing, let's begin to breathe with our diaphragms. Now, a lot of us are very deep, meaningful, impactful people. But the way that we walk through life is very shallow. We put ourselves out like, oh, this is my title, I am this, I am that, and we never get the true essence of who we are, because our identity is in the title. It's not internal. When our identity is in a title and it's not internal, then when that title, that position is gone, then we lose our identity. But if we place our identity in God, if we place our identity in ourselves, the fact that our essence, I am, then we can start to understand our power. We can start to treat our body better by taking deeper breaths rather than shallow chest breathing, which is what happens when you breathe really quickly. Don't really feel your diaphragm expanding. When we live our life taking shallow breaths, our expansion is diminished. Our view of the world is shrunk because we aren't able to open up and expand the full capacity of our lungs. We have not been able to open up and exceed the limited capacity of our current situation. So what must we begin to do? First, we must begin to know how important is breathing. Now, you can go 40 days without food. You can go 14 days without water, but you can only go 4 minutes without air. So breathing is the most important thing you can do, not just for the contribution towards your own well-being, but it's for the contribution towards the well-being of everyone else in the world, including the trees and the animals and your mama, cousin, daddy, loved one, and all matters. So when we don't take our time to spend some time to simply focus on our breath by taking deep diaphragm breathing, we are diminishing, we are withdrawing, we are taking away the gift that we can give to ourselves and to the world. So I'm here to urge you today to listen to your breath. Now, how many times throughout the day do you take out to listen to your breath? Feel your breath. Be your breath. Have you really thought about doing that at all? Is that even part of your regimen? Okay. In the next few minutes, let's bring more awareness towards your breath. The thing that allows you to contribute and receive from the universe and to live. So how are you going to do that? You're going to place your right hand on your stomach and you're going to take a deep breath in like you're blowing into a balloon. Now, as you breathe in, you should feel your stomach enlarging. Now, be aware, your lungs is not in your stomach, but it's darn near close. So as you expand your lungs, your belly button should be pushing your hand out. So you have the baby of life. Air gives you life. When you breathe into your lungs and your belly expands, it means that you are really taking part of life. So that's why breathing is so important. So when you do that, right? Now, as you let the air go out your mouth, you're just gonna feel that collapse. See, I just contributed. When I take, I have enough energy, but if I take too much and I hold it in, then I can die off my own air. So that's why we have to let it go. So we don't hold our breath. That's what happens when we feel like we're in a pond or the pool and we're underneath the pool and we're like, oh, I'm drowning, and we're holding our breath. So a lot of us live our lives that way. Like we're in a pool and we're drowning, we're holding our breath, and our only option is either open our mouth or hold our breath, both of which allows us to die. So if being underneath water, which water can be trouble, it can be heartache, it could be breakup, it could be pain, it could be losing a loved one, losing your best friend. Now when our heart, when our lungs is restrained and you full of air and you full of anger, you're full of rage, and you just holding your breath tight underneath water, and you can't get your above water because you just cannot see anything past the situation, which is the very thing drowning out your soul, drowning out your voice, drowning out the power that you have. When we're underneath water, we can't breathe because that's not our environment. Pain is not our environment. Suffering is not your environment. Dysfunction is not your environment. Contribution and receiving is the right environment. So if you feel like you've been underneath water this whole time, your life cannot seem to go right, I'm telling you, you can begin to come above water. And how are we going to do that? Is by recognizing that there's a whole world out there. So get up from underneath the water, stand up. You're on your knees underneath the water. Something's weighing you down. You have the ankle weights of your past weighing you down. If you were to just take the steps, let's start to unlatch, let them go. You will go up to the surface. Your head will be above water and you'll be able to take in that good ass prana, baby. So I'm saying to you that breathing is not only the most significant thing you can do, but it's the very thing that would allow you to live again, to breathe again, to be free again, to have your head above water once again. So we can begin to do that. Now, when we're focusing on our breath, then we're taking away the airhead of our past experiences, the air in our head, the thing filling up our conscious every single day that causes us our anxieties. We're going away from this part to this part, to the heart. Nothing can hold us back. No trouble, no circumstance, no emotional imbalance, no breakup, no pain, no suffering can hold you down when you've understood the power of breathing, the power of your breath, and that the Lord has bestowed that gift for you.